God's purpose. They are about the devil. They are about destruction. And you get them out of the way. Okay. We have to remember the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And if you are about that kingdom, you cannot be in this house. That's what we have to tell one another, those that don't want to hear. And you know what I'm talking about. Only those that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. I just had to add that.
No, T. No. Hey T, but that yo, T.
I
And
love it.
in the healing process, right? What you saying, and people gotta understand that's what that discernment coming at. And some people don't have that. We talk about that all the time. Is that right there, acknowledgement, knowing the people that's not for you, you gotta sometimes, and they don't care about being healed. They like, yo, I'm here to destroy. Like you said, they here to disrupt everything that's going good. Just think about it. You know, I was listening to a sermon, right? And when you're standing with God, when you walk in the room, you got this light about you. That you can walk in a room and it's all dark, but there's a light over you. There's a beacon. They can see that. And see that, and that's because guess what? When you walk in the room, they notice you. They notice you already. So guess what? If they're not in that same light, that same atmosphere, guess what? They looking at you differently. They like, wait a minute, this person not even like me. Why are they coming here? And so now they trying to destroy everything that you're standing for. And so that's the key, being able to discern what's going on in the atmosphere. That's a key component to knowing and recognizing the enemy to your soul is trying to steal, kill, and destroy what you have, especially when you walk in his purpose and the purpose that he has for you. That's what he's trying to do. So you're right about that. That's what, hey, listen. And the ones that don't understand what discernment is, listen, that's the being able to discern the difference between if somebody's for you or against you.
The devil has his children too.
Those are opposers. Yeah. Those are the opposers. Go ahead, Ernest. I know you want to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to jump in real quick because it's two things that y'all brought up that I want to comment on. The first one is community, right? So I always say, you know, my grandmother was the baby of 12 siblings, right? And then she had 10. My mother was one of the 10, and then my mother had 9, right? So I got 8 siblings. So when it comes to family, you know what I mean? And this is just my regular family. We ain't even gonna mention the church family, you know, is like super large, but that is the community that I come from. So I'm big on community when it comes to connecting with people. And so the Bible even says, you know, fail not to assemble yourselves together. So when it comes to that community and the company that you keep and the people that you're around, it plays such a pivotal part, even in your healing, because you can't be around toxic people and expect to be healed. You know what I mean? You can't be around people from broken, I don't necessarily want to say broken homes, but definitely in broken relationships and think that they're going to give you some advice that's going to actually help your relationship. Like it ain't going to help. It ain't going to work. And the other thing I wanted to touch on, which is one of the things that you mentioned too, when it comes to people wanting to be healed. One of my pet peeves is when I try to talk to somebody or somebody come to me and the issue that needs to be addressed and they say, well, that's just who I am. Like, bro, like, no, if that's who you are and you see that it's a problem because it came up, then you can't use that as a scapegoat. Like, that's just who I am. Well, then you need to become somebody else because that's not working. You know what I mean? That's not working in a relationship, whether you, you know, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a romantic relationship. If something is brought up that needs to be addressed, you can't fall back on that just who I am, because now who you are may be toxic and it may not be beneficial to the relationship that you're in. So if it comes up and it needs to be addressed, then you may need to become somebody else in this situation. You know what I mean? And so that's just one of my pet peeves. I hate when people, and you know, being the kind of person that I am, and I'm sure y'all like that too, you are the person that everybody comes to. But then you get those, again, that come to you and it's like, they already got their mind made up that they're not going to change before they even had a conversation. They're like, why you call me? You know what I'm saying? Why did you call me?
Hey, Ernest, you sound like me, because I used to say that to Rodney all the time. He be like, "Oh boy."
Hold on, what you say to me? Hold on. What you say to me? I need to know what you say to me all the time. Let me make sure.
When those people come to me they want to talk to me, and I already know they not coming with nothing good. They coming with something negative. They not even talking nothing prosperous. They like this, and I ain't gonna say where it be at, because you know what I'd say. They just be like, "Oh yeah, it's all negative." I'll be like, "Yo, we can't talk about nothing else." But when I start talking about God, they don't want to hear that. They already like, "Nah, I'm good," and walk away. But they want to talk about everything else under the sun, but they don't want to talk about that. Now, why is that?
So I want to talk about, I'm gonna go ahead and just I want to add on too. And my add on is, when I talk to people, I always make sure that they understand that your decision on what you do, that you're in control. So I hate when people be like, "Oh, my mother did this happened. This is the only way I know how to do it, blah, blah, blah." And I asked them, I was like, "Well, just do something different." And they're like, "What do you mean by that?" I was like, "Man, you just, all you have to do is very simple." And people always make it difficult. It's very simple. Decide not to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's really that easy to just decide not to do it. Just like you decide to say something hateful, you can say something nice. You can change, you have that split the second. I always talk about the split second. Before you get ready to hit somebody, there's a split second that you go, "I'm going to hit them." And then there's also the time that you already done pre-decided before anything happened. Hey, the next time they step to me like that, I'm punching them in the face. They ain't even stepped to you. You've already decided to do it. And a lot of people don't seem that not, a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for the fact you made the decision already. Like, you already made that decision, or then right before you did that, you made that decision. And that was like one of the biggest things that I had to learn, that I learned through therapy and learned through my healing, is that I am in control. I used to give this excuse all the time. My wife made me do this. My wife made me punch a wall. My wife made me do that. And once I realized that, I started hearing that decision in my head, I made a decision. I made my own decision to change it. Like, nah, I'm not gonna, people don't understand that you give people power. And a lot of times we give people power that they don't deserve. Like, why did you give that person enough power to make you act in an ungodly way? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your decision. You're deciding to do that. And just like you decide to do that, you can also decide to pray for them. You can also decide to take yourself out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like Chef Dennis say, he, when people come at him, he run away. But but it's just it's just a decision.
He jabbed me already.
It's just a decision that you can make. You know what I'm saying? You can actually not run like him and just walk away and decide that this might not be the time to have that conversation. Or you can decide that, that I'm going to pray for you right now. It's crazy how powerful that is. You know what I'm saying? When that person comes for you in the comments for no reason, you don't know that person, maybe we should pray for them. You know what I'm saying? But I like how Lady T took care of that. That was genius. It was great. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? But hey, man, it is what it is. But I got you.
I did. I paid attention. I spoke to it.
I knew exactly what she was saying.
Yeah,
I cut it off. I cut that off.
I know you tuned out, but I told y'all I like to talk to the enemy now. I have no problem talking to the enemy. I'll do it directly or indirectly. I'm going to talk to the enemy. Somebody's going to hear that word, and it's going to get back to that devil, because the devil needs to be talked to. That's all it is. The devil has been sitting there waiting for a conversation, and the conversation needs to be had, and I'm going to go ahead and have the conversation when it comes to me. That's all.
Hey, Ernest, now it's the first look. We've been on here. We've been on the platform for 2 years now, and that's the first time that ever happened. And so, obviously, you said that's the second time, Rodney.
Yeah, I remember the first time.
Yeah,
you're right. Second
But it's
time
all
it happened.
good. But I
Oh,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
But
But
no.
what the thing about it is that understand this. We all recognized it, but that's what the enemy does because we're doing something for the glory of God, and so now he want to slip right in and disrupt it. And all four of us was right on it, and Rodney texted me, and boom, because that's what he want to do. He want to disrupt. He want to get our attention somewhere else. And guess what? No, he don't get the glory. And LAT, you was on point and you was on fire with that.
That joke was hot. I was like, yo,
yes.
It's
And I let you go.
It's unfortunate that it has to be like that, though. Really, it is unfortunate because it feels like, you know, if what we're trying to do is encourage people, but yet there's somebody somewhere out there who is discouraging, who wants to destroy, who wants to have, you know, destruction and to kill, and it burns me up. I've said this before, okay? It burns me up to allow us to sit here and let the devil have any authority and power. I feel like there's something else that needs to happen. And so I'm doing my best to calm my nerves and use my words, let the Spirit of God speak through me and say what needs to be said. And, you know, I'm going to be okay.
Well, pray for them, Lady T. I loved it. That was how you spoke was eloquently. I was impressed.
That's how it's supposed to be. Because guess what?
It isn't my first time dealing with it. I've had it before, but I've never dealt with it. That was genius. I loved it. So you know. But anyway, let's get back to the topic. You know what I'm saying? I love
Only
it.
us four know about it.
Yeah. The people in the comments could see it if they were paying attention. But it's still love. Hey, look. But go back to like I was saying about the healing in the relationship. You know, I think just like Ernest said, having the right community around you is extremely powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can't see when you're going through the storm, you can't see the road in front of you. You may need that friend. You may need that pastor. You may need that podcast host that wants to call you and tell you all this other kind of stuff. You may need that to help you see through the fog. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with you that community is important, you know, especially when you're trying to heal and you're trying to grow, but you just gotta have the word of the day discernment to know who's really here to help and who's really here to hurt.
Now, Rodney, I want to add. No, seriously, I want to add what you said, and I want to speak to the men out there. Men, this is our time, not to discredit the women. It's our time to get together, put away all those foolish things, and get together and understand we have to grow as men, as fathers, as leaders. We supposed to stand in the gap for our families. And if you're not able to do that, that's what other men are supposed to do. Put you on their back, help you get up so they can be strong. That's what happens. Just think about it. When if you look at a bridge, right? If one of the pillars in the bridge is weakened, how do you strengthen that? You got to go and fix it, because if you don't, guess what? The whole bridge will collapse. And so we are the men that's supposed to stand in the gap for our families, our friends, our brothers, and that's what we got to do. I'm talking to the men now, because guess what? There is a lot of men out here that do not do that. They're so locked in what's going on in the world, they forget about God. God is the author. God can do all things but fail, and we got to understand that. The men, listen, men are not going to church. Men are not standing up. They wearing purses. They doing all these things like a woman. No, we are men, and you have to stand like a man. And guess what? God can place you in a place of strength, endurance, stability, finance, all that. Guess what? He is the guidance. He is the compass to your life. Men, he is. And some that don't even believe and don't understand that, guess what? That's the foundation. You can't build a house on sand. You have to have a strong, firm foundation. And God is the foundation. That's where it starts. If you don't have a relationship, get one. Learn how to get one. That's where the community comes in. That's where the community comes in. Being around the right men. Guess what? Listen, it's okay to change. Change comes with growth. Change comes with stability, faith, believing that you are the king that you're supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? And I wanted to say, because Ronnie brought that out of me, because guess what? Ronnie does a great job of doing that. And see, a lot of men don't hear it. Guess what? They look at all the sex and all this women, beautiful. No, focus on that. Guess what? If you want a wife, God will lead you to that wife. You got to find her. But guess what? You have to be prepared to be a husband. Just like a woman has to prepare herself to be a wife. You can't just tell myself, oh, she's beautiful, and that's it. Guess what? Her character, her morals, all of those things are important. Because guess what? If you get the wrong woman, guess what? How you expect your children to grow in the right way? You can't. That's not going to work. That's why we got all these children out here just lost. It doesn't mean everybody make poor decisions. Everybody. I've done it. But guess what? We're trying to create a different atmosphere just here from the battle to the glory. Just here. There's other places that you could go. But guess what? We're just encouraging people to do those things. Go ahead, Lady T. I know you want to say something. You want to jump in? Go ahead.
No.
Tag you in.
I think Ernest wanted to say.
Oh, Ernest, go ahead. Tag you in. Ernest.
I'm chopping at the bit, right? You mentioned something that definitely sticks out to me, right? When it comes to the state of manhood, and it's because we don't have the relationships that we need to have. We don't have the accountability that we need to have with one another. One of the things I'm a part of here in the Chicagoland area, I'm a part of a organization which is Champs Male Mentoring, right? We got 4 locations here in Chicago, and we got some other locations, around the United States. Shout out to Dr. Vidal Singleton, who started Champs. But it's a male mentoring program, right? And so we, of course, we're mentoring young men. But one of the things I recognized a couple of years ago, even as I was preparing to become a mentor myself, I started an organization called Man Up, which stands for men. Dang, my mind just went blank. I hate when I do that. It's called Man Up. Dang, I can't think of the name. And I
come back to it.
Right. But the thing was, though, I started this organization, and what I realized was that even though when I started, I was aiming at young men, like teenagers, but I realized that I had a lot of men that I was coming in contact with that didn't have a positive male role model as young men, but now they're adult men and still needed guidance. You know what I'm saying? And so that made me broaden my scope even more to say, okay, let me connect with other adult men so we can have these conversations and begin to sharpen one another to give other adult men the relationships and the guidance and accountability that they didn't have when they were younger either. So it's one thing for us to reach out and to be mentors to, the younger generation, but there's some of us who are older and didn't get the lessons that we needed from a father,
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that God blessed me to be able to say, even when I talk with the young men that's a part of our organization with some of the other mentors, you hear the stories and it's like, well, a lot of the mentors is like, well, I grew up, without my father. And so that's why I became a mentor, because I want to give, the younger generation something that I didn't have. And I always say, I praise all of them, but that's not my story. My story is the opposite. I was raised in a 2-parent household with my dad. You know what I mean? My dad is still here now. I just got off the phone with him not too long ago. You know what I mean? But it was because I had my dad that I recognized what was missing in some of my friends and my family lives who didn't have their father. So that's what made me want to be a mentor, because I had that example of what manhood looked like and what manhood was supposed to look like, in my father, in my home every day. And so that's what made me want to become a mentor. But I think, again, we not always, but we do address the younger generation as being mentors for, the young men that's coming up. But I think at a point, we have to also be mentors for one another, because all of us didn't have that, that example growing up. And some of us have became men, and we're broken men because we came from broken homes. And now we are starting to have families and having children and not being able to pour into our children the way that we're supposed to, because we didn't get what we needed as coming up. But just because you didn't get it is no excuse for you not to get it now. You might not have got it when you were like Rodney said earlier, you got to want to change, and you can decide to do something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna hop on this part, but I mentioned about the fatherless daughters piece, right? So when I started talking to fatherless daughters, I used to talk, do like one-on-ones and have conversations. One of the questions I would always ask up first is, what generation of fatherlessness are you? Are you a first generation of fatherless daughter, or was your mother a fatherless daughter? Was your grandmother a fatherless daughter? And generally, when I ask that question and they start looking back, it's usually generations of fatherlessness that it came part that it has manifested in generation after generation. And like Rodney said, then I have to address it. Okay, now that we know how many generations came before you, you decide how many generations are going to come after you. What are you going to do different that's going to change the trajectory of your family? And so as men, we have to take that same question. Yes, I may have came from a broken home, or I may have, experienced this growing up, but what am I going to do different that's going to change the trajectory of my family, and then also the other men and the other young men that I come in contact with?
And
I want to
go ahead,
jump
go
in.
ahead, go ahead, Lizzie.
Okay. What you're saying is, Ernest, is something that's so profound, because if we're talking about this topic, it's like, if you're thinking about it, you're healing with someone. That's totally different, where two individuals consciously, possibly hold space for growth, seeing one another. But then there's healing through someone, and that can be absent people in our lives, and we can use that as a tool and a trigger to solve unresolved wounds. So when you were saying all this, I'm like, yeah, because that's basically, you choose how you want to heal, but the healing starts within you. You have to decide if you're going to say, okay, I have this relationship with someone, or I don't. I can use this as a tool to help me heal, or I can say, I'm going to go to this person and, hey, we need to learn to do something better to heal one another, and we can solve this together for our personal growth. We can come together. Like, I get what you're saying with that, because that's very, like, something needs to be said about that. How we choose to heal is learning how to see our relationships, how they are, and accept what they are and learn from them.
Look, I want to say, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys, and this is what we talk about. We talk about men. Now, our biological, I have two daughters, but my wife has two sons, and so I had the pleasure of help raising them just a little bit. They maybe a couple of years, but my baby son, right? We had a conversation over this weekend. We was down to college. He's getting ready to graduate, and we had a conversation, and it's pertaining to this, because, and the reason why I say that is because, look, we was talking at the dinner table, right, and it got kind of heated, but in my spirit already, I said, I will not allow my flesh to get in the midst of this. And the reason why I say that is because my son said, he said this to me. He said, first of all, I said, let me start with here. I said, if you marry, you can't get advice from a person that's never been married on marriage. And then it's levels to that. If this person is in a relationship, the relationship is different from a marriage. He wanted to say, oh, it's still a relationship. No, it's it's a covenant. It's you honoring this person way greater than in a relationship, right? And so he said to me, he said, if I say this, based on your answer, the conversation is going to be over. Just like that. Just like that. So I was like, so he asked me, he said, can a 6-year-old give me advice? I said, no. You know what he said? He said, conversation over.
Mm-hmm. Conversation over.
That's what he said to me. So I said, I said my flesh was about to flare up, but God had already spoke. No. So he ain't say nothing no more. I ain't say nothing. He was eating. Then he started to talk, and I ain't say nothing. I didn't have no conversation. He said, oh, now you've been a hypocrite. I said, wait a minute. I just gave you a little taste of what you just did to me. You told me the conversation is over. But the moral of the story was this, is that we was able to have a conversation because we have grown together to understand sometimes we're not going to agree. And the moral of this, I brought this to y'all guys, is that the flesh sometimes will go against the spirit. That's the thing, is because it was a conversation. It was good at first, but I know his spirit was moving and mine was moving, and guess what? And if we didn't have a relationship, it could have got ugly. But we have a relationship, and that's what I wanted to say to you guys, because you know what? I was raised where you couldn't talk. You can have those conversations. If my father was talking to me, shut up. You ain't know what you're talking about. But see, now I have a relationship with a young man who's an adult. We having this conversation. It might get a little heated, but it's always respect. My parents didn't give me that. I didn't have that dialogue where I had the freedom of talking and saying something like that. I probably would have got slapped in the face. And see, what I'm saying is that we have to have those conversations with this young generation. You can't allow your flesh to get you into your emotions and not rectify the situation. You can't understand where they're coming from because your flesh flares up, and now you want to get into an argument, you want to get into a debate, and not look at, okay, this person don't understand it. And what we perish in, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. And so we continued the conversation. And what we did, we finished, he gave me a hug, said he loved me. I said I love him. Being able to do that was great. It felt great to be able to have a conversation and knowing that it was a heated conversation, but it was in love.
Did you agree with him? Did you agree with him eventually? How did that conversation end up? I want to know.
A 6-year-old kid give me no advice.
Can't give you no advice. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know that,
I thought he said, can you learn from a 6?
Wisdom can come from a child. That's what I'm saying.
Can a 6-year-old give you advice? 6-year-old. Now watch this.
Yeah, he can give me advice on how to be a 6-year-old.
But also,
give me advice on that.
We ain't talking about that.
But wisdom is still
Hey.
advice, though. Wisdom can come from a child. That's what was in the Bible.
I was in the car with my son when he was 3, and he said to me the most profound thing I ever heard a 3-year-old say. He said, "Daddy, how can you zig if you don't zag?" And I said, "What?" I was like, "Yo."
What you say? That's a slippery slope right there, zig zag.
He said, "How can you zig if you don't zag?" I said, "Well, if that ain't genius, I don't know, son. I really don't have an answer for you. I have no idea."
But guess what? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Dennis, I just wanted to jump in real quick. And number one, applaud you, you know what I'm saying, for even having a conversation. And one of the things that you mentioned, with I'm gonna say the word stepson, is that he's an adult now. You know what I mean? So you are able to have that conversation. Like yourself, I have one biological child, which is my daughter, but I have 4 stepsons, right? My daughter is the youngest of my 5 kids, and I remember when I came into the life of my sons, they were older. I think the oldest was probably 10. And I came in, and two of the things that I told them, which kind of built the foundation of our relationship, even up until today, I said 2 things I want you to always remember, no matter what. Number 1 is I love you. And number 2, I have your best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. Because I know we're going to get to the point, and they weren't even teenagers at that time. I know we're going to get to the point, right, that you're not my daddy going to come up. I know we're going to get to the point where you're not going to like some of the things I tell you. I know we're going to get to the point where you're not going to like how I discipline and all of that. But if you remember these 2 things, that I love you, number 1, and number 2, that I always have your best interest at heart, then at the end of everything that we're going to be straight, and, of course, being a stepdad that's a whole nother conversation. Word. But like I said, all my sons are grown now. And I always say this, the one that gave me the most trouble is the one that says I love you the most now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I always, so I'm like, hey, so I just want to applaud you. The fact that you, number 1, you can even have the conversation. And you said y'all was sitting at dinner. So that means y'all came together. You know what I mean? So that within itself, speaks to your guidance as a man and as a father to be in the life of this young man, to the point that now he's in college and can make his own decisions and decided to sit down and break bread with you still and to have a conversation.
And Ernest, you know what else I said to him? I'm just what you said. So this is what I told him. I'm gonna say this to his older brother too. I say this all the time. I said, listen, when God allowed me to come into your life, this is no show. This is real. I say this because I had to say that. I said, when God allowed me to come into your life, all I wanted to do is add value and pour into your life, as well as allowing you to pour into my life. That is it. I love you. I said, when I came in, I had a step parent. But I did when God allowed me to marry his mother, it was no step parent. It's like, that's my son. I'm gonna go to war for him. Even if somebody say, well, that ain't your real son. I say, yo, listen, guess what? No, he my son. You want to fight physically, whatever, we gonna go to war because got to it. I love his mother that much. So you have to love the other person's child as much as your own, because guess what? If you really love that woman, you're gonna love her kids, even in the midst of them not being obedient to you or they're just being managed. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta love them, and you gotta have compassion, because God gives that mercy and grace to all of us, even when we don't listen to him. When we supposed to do the things that he wants us to, he say, "Oh, I'm still gonna show you mercy. I'm still gonna have grace for you." And so that's what I said to him. I said, look, I want all I want to do for you is pour into your life, add value. And Ernest, and this one thing we had when he was younger, he was talking to a young lady on the phone, and he had his shirt on. I said, yo, put a shirt on. If you're gonna talk to her on the phone, put a shirt on, okay? I said, because guess what? If I see a young boy talking to my daughter and he got a shirt off, I'm gonna tell her to hang the phone up. And so he's like, oh, well. And look, he got into a little thing with the parent. The mother saw it, right? And told the daughter to hang up, don't ever call him again. You know what he did? On his own, he wrote the mother letter, wrote the girl letter, went to the house. I took the house and apologized and everything. And I never said, I told you. No, because guess what? He was smart enough to understand that all I wanted to do is show you. It's about respect. You talking to a young lady on the phone. What are you trying to do? Entice her? No, we let's get that out of here now. Listen, you trying to talk to her, go to the house and chill and relax while the parents there. Okay, do it respectfully. That's what you got to do. A man that's really trying to look at a woman and respect her, he don't need to talk to her with no shirt on while you on the phone. Nah. And guess what? And to this day, look, we got that understanding. It's about respect. Respect that woman. Show her that you got class. You know, when y'all together, that's something different. But I'm saying, you trying to get to know this young lady. Oh, show her respect. Show her that, you know what, I ain't trying to get into your pants and all that type of stuff. And look, that's a whole nother story. But I just wanted to share that with you, because guess what? That was my journey as a father, as a man, but teaching. And I'll say that to any other man. Look, we talk to a young lady on the phone, you don't gotta have your shirt off and trying to entice her, because guess what? If she had her shirt off, what you think she trying to do to you? Entice you. Get you down that wrong road, right, Lady T? Rodney, well, you been real quiet today, man. What's going on, man?
No, I ain't saying nothing. I was listening, brother. I ain't got nothing to say about shirtless kids and stuff. I don't know nothing about that. I ain't got nothing to say about that, brother.
Rodney, we're not going there. That's right.
I have no idea about none of that. Yeah, well, you weren't allowed to have a shirt off in my house unless you pay a bill. So
no, that's right. Same thing here. My dad was like,
"Oh, man,
go put a shirt on. Nobody want to see your bird chest."
I went through that with my kids too, my sons, because all my sons play football. So once they start working out, and this is another story I share this. Once they started working out, you know, then they wanted to walk around with their shirts off because they thought they was, you know, built or whatever, right? So me and another minister started a church, right? And our church was in existence for 10 years. But in the midst of us having the church, we had pews when we first started in the sanctuary. So we were getting new carpet put down in the sanctuary. So we had to take all the pews out to church. And so I told my sons, all right, we got to, you know, pick up all these pews and take them out to church. And so they come in there, of course, you know, they had their shirts on, you know, but they wanted to, you know, show off how strong they is. It was me on one end and two of them on the other end of the benches. And they were struggling. I'm like, bro, I said those workout muscles ain't the same as work muscles. You know what I'm saying? I said I might have a little stomach and I ain't cut up. I ain't got no six pack. I got a keg. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to actually working, I can pick up this one side and there's two of y'all on the other side, and I'm twice as old as y'all. You know what I mean? So all the muscles and stuff don't mean nothing in real life.
Yeah,
You know
I've
what I
heard
mean?
about
So I
that.
always tell them like them workout muscles ain't nothing to do with work muscles. When you have
I've
to have the
heard
muscle to
about
work,
that.
to real work, to get out here and do something, it don't mean nothing. It look good in the mirror at the gym, but when you get on that work site, you know what
Which
I
is
mean?
crazy.
What we
How is
talking?
that possible?
It's
Earn
called
it
old.
now.
It's called old man strength. That's what I told my
Hey,
kids. I
Rodney,
got
I was
old
about to say
man
grown
strength.
man strength. Yeah, grown
Yeah,
man
it's
strength.
totally different. That thing
Okay.
is totally different, boy. I'll
Been
tell
working
you.
it out for years.
But I'll tell you, Lady T. So I'm a bricklayer by trade, right? 22 years, I think I've been doing it now. And I had that conversation with somebody the other day. A young lady was like, "Oh, y'all construction workers, y'all must be like in fit and in shape." I said, "No, that's a misconception." Right? I said, "You come on the job site, you'll see all kind of big beer bellies and everything,
Mhm.
because the work that you do is different than workout. When you're working out in the gym, you are specifically saying, okay, I'm gonna do this movement for this muscle."
Yeah.
Right. So when you get out on the actual job site and you have to pick something up or turn or lift something, it's completely different because you're using different muscles and you're actually doing the full range of motion. So if you're in the gym and you're doing this because you want this to be big, but when you actually have to pick up a brick and lift it up over that rebar, you know what I'm saying? That's a different kind of strength, and you're using different muscles. And
Get
so that gym workout, it looks good in the mirror, but when you have to actually go to work and put them muscles to use, it's a whole different thing.
Makes sense now.
Yeah, I got my sons when they went through that phase. Unfortunately, I'm an ex-football player and all that other kind of stuff, and my son get big enough and he want to bump me in the hallway and stuff like that, and this, that, and the other. I was like, "Oh, you got a nice six-pack there." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stand right here, and I'm gonna let you punch me in my stomach as hard as you can. But the only return is I get to do the same thing back." And sure enough, he sat there and he winded up to the joint. He don't know I had a six-pack down here for 20-something years. It's still underneath here. It got even more protection in front of it though. So so sure enough, he winded up, hit me as hard as he could. I said, "Good job, it's my turn." And so what I do is I always have something in my hand, right? Because he already trying to lock up. So I had something, I throw it up in the air, he'll look up, then I punch him in his stomach. And then he always collapsed to the ground. He collapsed to the ground, but all it takes is that one time, and then that's the end of that. You don't got to worry about him challenging you for a good 5 years. Now, when you walk through the hallway, he turns to the side. To the side. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. You got that's that old man strength. That's that. I've been doing this for a long time, brother.
Hey, look, Rodney, you hit him with an old school one too.
Yeah, always. Yeah, throw the Joe in the air. He look up, boom, take the breath right out of him. Every time, never fails.
I visualize that, bro. Yo, he throwing it up there.
Never fails. I'm telling you.
Well, listen, Lady T is gonna be gone after tomorrow, guys. She's gonna be gone for a couple
to Japan.
She's head off to Japan, y'all. So after tomorrow, y'all won't see Lady T. It's gonna be me and Rodney for a couple of minutes. I definitely got guests coming, so I got guests, but it's be me and Rodney attacking.
Y'all gonna be doing it. Y'all gonna have great conversations with great people. I already know.
But they come to see you. They say, "Well, Lady T at?"
Nope, they don't.
All right, well, look. Okay, yeah, there you go. Like I told you, go back.
I don't believe that.
Lady T. That's the only reason why I started watching the show. If it was for Chef Dennis, I would have been stopped watching. I was like, let me come help out at Lady T.
Ernest, I go through this all day.
The two of us are good with each other because his perspective and my perspective, we kind of clash, but then we kind of try to come together, if that makes sense.
Your perspective is usually right and his is wrong.
Wow. You hear right, Ernest? Wow.
Yeah, I am. I would definitely love to come back on, man, and chop it up with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
You got my number. You got my number. I told you we gonna be brothers now, bro. Yeah, look, you text me. You text me, and I was like, right respond. I like, oh yeah, come on through. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna let you get out of here because I know you. Hey, you gotta get your sleep. And listen, we always want you to come anytime. Just call. You gotta do is text me, call me, whatever.
Tell everybody where they can follow you before you
No
go,
doubt.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So first of all, let me again say thank all of y'all for having me. I definitely look forward to coming back at some point. But I am Ernest James. I am the host of the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, as well as some other podcasts. If you go to YouTube and look up the Deal to Heal podcasting network, you will find the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast on that channel, as well as the Girl Dad Discussions podcast, as well as Bible study podcast that my sister does. So I'm just out here trying to do some things, but you definitely can find me there. And also ErnestJamesSpeaksLife.com, which is my website as a professional speaker, to have me to come out to talk with you guys, to talk to your school or organization. And last but not least, I also have a private Facebook community, the Deal, Heal, Fulfill community. You also guys can, come check me out there, where I'm able to pour a little more into you guys, as well as build community, which we talked about earlier, which is very important to me. Build community to help us to heal, to help us to deal. And because my mission in life is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. And that is my mission. And I hope that I fulfilled that mission tonight. So I definitely appreciate you guys for having me on.
Oh, we love it. We love it, man. Listen, you got my number. You can call me anytime. I'm always available. That's just me. But enjoy the rest of your evening. Get some sleep. Talk to you soon. Yep.
I'm following.
Yes,
And I
sir.
sent the invite on Facebook.
Yep, and I already accepted it. So yeah, y'all got me. I'm locked in. All right, y'all. Blessings. I'll talk to y'all later.
Be blessed,
Take
man.
care.
All right, Lady T. Yeah, it's gonna be sad without you.
It's gonna be great. Y'all gonna
I
do
mean,
well.
Look,
I
how
can't
long?
wait to watch. I'm gonna be on the other side watching later, but it'll be good to sit back and listen to y'all's conversations. It's really good to
I'm
see
gonna do
other
my best to hold
conversation.
it down.
I'm gonna get caught up on Dad Mentality podcast. I'm gonna take time, because I will have time. I'm gonna be somewhere else. My responsibilities here is gonna be here. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
So how long you gonna be over there again?
10 days.
10 days. Okay. And then when you go over there for 10 days, then you're gonna be come back and then going back somewhere else, right?
No, I'm not gonna travel until next year. That'll be it for me.
Okay. You got anything exciting planned in Japan?
Yes, spots that I don't know for sure, because I can't say it, but my daughter's been twice, and so they are really thinking of living there. And so my other daughter and I are trying to get a little bit familiar, just in case it does happen. And so it'll be interesting. But I'm so loving it. And everything that's happened with Japan, recently, if you're watching the news, it's like, it's like, wow.
Don't believe it.
I mean, just the fact that he was there recently and I'm about to go there, and then the woman being the prime minister, it's a lot of transitioning, and a lot of things that I just sit back and watch.
Keep God. That's all.
I watch and pray. That's what we're told to do.
That's it.
That's
Keep
right.
God. That's it. Well, listen, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna, get you some nice little shout out. Rodney, he's not gonna be with me tomorrow, so he's got something
tomorrow, but I'll be back next week.
Yeah, next week we got you.
I have to hold it down for Lady T. I don't want
Rodney. You be the one it. That's what I say. You're the best co-host. That's what I say. You're the best non-co-host, but you're the co-host.
Yeah, I got you.
Yo, dang, I just get thrown under the bus all the time.
And you're the host. That's what you're, this is you, okay? From the battle to the glory. Chef Dennis, you are putting it out there all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he put it up there right here too. He put it all up there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, man. Listen, it was great, man. Oh, man. Yeah. Hey, Rodney, just check out his daughter thing.
Oh, don't worry. I'm definitely going to check it out for sure.
Me too.
Yeah. So,
just check out his daughter thing.
I got the echo going. All right.
My bad.
Stay focused, sir. Stay focused.
Yeah. But Man, it's always a pleasure to have you up here, man. For real, man. See. I wish I was able to come see you, man, when I was down there, but so much was going on down there. I couldn't even go down there and see T.
Oh,
Man,
wow,
it was too much. Look, it's 3.5 hours to drive up there where y'all live at. I was like, oh, 3 hours there, 3 hours back. I had to drive an hour to the hotel. I was like, oh, 6 hours to get there from my house to there. I was like, yo, nah, I ain't gonna do all this driving. And then when I got there, look, when I got there the first day, boy, he had me walking all over the place. I said, hey, I ain't no college student. My wife was like, you funny. I said, man, what? Oh, nah. The second day, I was like, yo, I'm not doing all this walking. I'm talking about he had me walking like I was on a trail. I was like, man, bro. I go get my car. My car was far too. No, for real. My car, my car was far. I said, you're gonna have to take me to get my car, but that jump was up the hill, down the hill. I was like, oh nah. I done fell and twist my ankle. I said, oh, that's it. They ain't look. They was walking in front of me. They didn't even see me fall. Look, the crazy part is somebody see me fall, and look, they say, what happened? I said, I fell. So I heard the person that was walking on the other side laughing. He said, oh. I said, yeah, you didn't even say it was all right. You just start laughing. I was like, dang. Luckily, I ain't twist my ankle bad, though. I did twist my ankle, though. I said, dang. But listen, it was lovely. I got to get out of here. Listen, Lady, Rodney, I see you next week. Lady, I see you tomorrow. Be blessed. Be encouraging to someone, ladies and gentlemen. Peace. We love you.
Y'all later.